Hey everybody, it's Mommy, and this week on Mommy Says, here for the Toy Insider Parents Advisory Board, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to make a movie recommendation. Now, if you are like one of the 10 people in the United States or the world who has not yet seen Inside Out, I strongly recommend that you go see this movie together as a family. And if you wanted to bring the grandparents along as well, I think that would be great. If you have some older kids who are maybe home from college who like normally wouldn't go see, like whatever, mom, now you take the little ones to go see Inside Out. I urge you to take them as well. Inside Out, we saw it was Daddy and Gracie and I and my mom, and it meant something different to each one of us. And overall, it had a really strong emotional impact. And I mean, people say, like I've been saying to people, bring tissues. And people are like, oh, no, I don't want to go see a sad movie. And, you know, my kids don't do well with sad. Trust me, Gracie does not do well with sad, upsetting movies, like people dying in movies and things like that. So, I mean, and Gracie hardly ever goes to see live action movies still because she's very, very sensitive about those things. But it's not that kind of crying. And there was an amazing article, and I will link it down below. And it talked about, and it was funny because as I was watching the movie in the beginning, I kept trying to figure out who the villain was. And it turns out there is no villain in this movie, which is not entirely unheard of for Pixar. Usually there's something. There's some massive villain or some massive obstacle that needs to be overcome. And it seems at first glance as you're watching Inside Out, you think to yourself, where's the villain? I mean, you keep waiting for something more dramatic, let's say, to happen. But what's really happening is the life of an 11-year-old girl named Riley, whose family has to pick up and move halfway across the country to a whole new city because her dad is starting a new business venture. If I remember correctly, that's not a new job. It's more like it's his company. And so you're seeing it obviously from the perspective of the emotions in Riley's head, which is, there's been so much written about how unique this is. But if you haven't seen it, trust me, you will be so blown away by it because the emotions going on inside an 11-year-old girl's head when something this dramatic is happening in her life are more than enough to compensate for there not being a big bad villain. And I think we can all relate to Riley. We can relate to the parents, although we only get glimpses, really humorous glimpses of the emotions in their heads. It's still pretty funny. But as a parent, I related to the parents. As the parent of an 11-year-old girl, I obviously related to the parents in this video, and I know that, you know, my husband related and my mom related on every level. As having been a child, my mom had to move a lot as a young girl. She was in a time when it wasn't the norm. She was the she was the child of a single mom. My grandparents divorced, and that was like really a big deal back then. And so my mom understood the moving and the isolation that comes with that. And you know, there's a really important theme in the movie that led me to want to, you know, urge you to go see it. And that if you have seen it and this didn't sort of pop out at you, I wanted to talk about here on Mommy Says because, you know, there's awesome toys. There's so many toys from Inside Out. We did a whole Inside Out week on our channel. I'll link that below. The toys are fabulous. The Funkos. I've got the Funkos here on my desk. Oh my gosh, so much Funko. I'm a Funko Pop addict, so And there's a Hot Topic, clear Bing Bong. If you've seen the movie, you know why there's a Hot Topic clear Bing Bong, and I have him somewhere over there. I didn't review him yet. There's so many adorable things from Inside Out. I have Disney Store has a sadness T-shirt. I got it originally for Gracie. I had to get one for myself. It's just the merch. It's so perfect for merchandising. But the toys are great for a number of reasons, and I'm going to get to that. But I do want to talk about where I was just going. So there is a message that as a parent, I have lived it, and I want to share it in case you missed it. Part of the struggle that Riley is going through is because her parents are going through, there's a lot of difficulty, you know, moving to a new city, starting a new business venture, moving your whole house, where the heck is the moving truck? All of that is extremely stressful. And her parents trying to shield their daughter, as we try to do as parents, just keep putting on a happy face in front of her and keep telling her, you know, where's our happy girl, and everything's great, and it's all, and they all, you know, everybody's trying to act towards everybody like everything is okay and it's great. And that is actually what sort of causes some problems for Riley and for the family, because at no point, you know, until they have to, let's say, does the family acknowledge to each other that there's some sadness, that there's some grieving going on, and that they need each other to get through it. And so that is something that I think that is a very important message as a parent. And, you know, I've gone through my whole, you know, the whole multiple sclerosis thing, and Gracie was, let's see, she's 11, so she was about 6 when I got sick, and she's seen me go through a lot over 5 years. Now, you know, as a parent, I have, of course, tried to shield her from, you know, a lot of a lot of it, and a lot of the fear and the sort of emotional upheaval that I was going through, you know, and my husband as well. But we didn't totally keep her out of the emotional equation. You know, I did acknowledge to her when I had to retire that, you know, it was very hard for me and that I was very sad. You know, I acknowledged my grief. You know, I talked to her about it like I would talk to a 7 or 8-year-old. You know, I just would say, you know, Mommy really, really loved her job and the people that she worked for. And, you know, I'm very sad that I had to leave because I got this illness, but it's going to be okay. And, you know, I just, you know, I need to just keep trying to stay positive, and, you know, the sadness will start to fade away, and we're together. We're going to find a new way of being together. And that's how the Mommy and Gracie show came into being, really was. And it was Gracie's idea of something we could do together in the summer of 2012, which was my first full summer home. And you know, so that was born out of my child understanding that I needed something, and that she needed something, and that doing something together would help us both to be together with the feelings that we were having. And, you know, I think we do a pretty good job, it seems, as parents when loved ones pass away, of acknowledging grief and talking to our kids about grief. But, you know, there's grief in so many other things that go on in our lives. And sometimes we just, in trying to make our children strong, and I think that's what Riley's parents were doing, in trying to make Riley strong, they were perhaps giving her the impression that she shouldn't be having feelings of sadness or feelings of fear about this move, about leaving her friends behind, about leaving her house, about leaving her hockey team. They just kept trying to focus on the positives. And it's very important to focus on the positives, but I think it's also very important to acknowledge loss. And it's so hard. You know, parenting is so hard. I mean, we always joke that they don't give you a manual, you know, but you know, I think none of us know what we're doing. And I read like a bunch of books, and you talk to your parents, and you know, you have brothers and sisters maybe that have kids, and you got people who've got older kids. You kind of look at what they do, and we all try our best. Everybody tries their best. And I think sometimes one of the things that we do is that we minimize grief because we don't want our children to be sad. I think that's a natural reaction, right? They fall, they cut themselves, they cry. You want to comfort them. You want to distract them, right? That's one of the, you know, that's one of those early parenting tips, you know, and when your kid's upset or having an outburst, distract them. And, I think we do that a lot, and maybe we go there too often. So my advice to you is to go see this movie, and you know, if you haven't already, and if you have seen it, maybe think back about what I've just said about kind of what the message of the movie was, and see if there's maybe an area in your family life where you've maybe not been acknowledging some loss or some grief. You know, maybe you've lost a job, and, you know, you don't want your children to be scared, right? But at the same time, not acknowledging that there's fear involved when someone loses a job, will make your kids hide their fear from you, because they don't want to, you know, they want to be strong for you. When kids get to be this tween age, you know, they're a little more in tune to us, and so they will start to try to hide their emotions a little bit, for your sake. They start to think about other people. So that's, I think, a really important thing to do. You know, acknowledge that, okay, you know, mom or dad, you know, the company went out of business, or, you know, they were downsizing, and downsizing means that they had to let some employees go, which means I don't work there anymore. And right now I don't have a job. There is, you know, explain to them that the government does have a program in place. So, you know, so don't worry. We're not in a situation where we're going to have to live out of our car, but, you know, we might have to be a little more budget conscious while I look for a new job. And, you know, I might be a little bit more stressed out, and maybe a little bit more quick to anger sometimes, and I apologize in advance. You know, looking for a job is a little bit stressful for grown-ups, and, you know, I'm sure we're going to find something, and, you know, and then you can do the positive spin, because I honestly do believe when one door closes, another door opens, and you can say, you know what, I'm probably going to find another job that is going to be even better, that I'm going to like even more. But, you know, so, but I honestly, yeah, are mom and dad a little bit scared? Yeah, it's scary, and it was surprising, and, you know, I'm a little bit sad about it, and acknowledge those things and ask them how they feel about it, and say, you know, how are you feeling? And, you know, it's okay to tell me, you know, at any time if you're scared, or you're sad, or, you know, you're worried, and, you know, just come talk to me. It's okay. You don't, you know, the world isn't always just roses and rainbows, and that's part of life, and it's okay. But, you know, as long as we're together as a family, everything's going to be okay. That's my whole story on Inside Out, why you should go see Inside Out if you haven't already, and the message that I really hope that families take away from Inside Out as parents. Thank you again to the Toy Insider for giving me this opportunity to come visit with you every Monday, and I will be back again next Monday with another Mommy Says. Until then, please subscribe to the Toy Insider. There's going to be lots of fun stuff coming. starting towards the end of July. I will be here every Monday, but Sweet Sweet is coming up. Gracie and I will be filming for the Toy Insider at Sweet Sweet, so you'll get to see lots of cool toys that are going to be coming out for the holiday shopping season. So get ready, get your wish lists going. And until I see you next Monday, thank you so much for watching. Please comment. Let's talk down below in the comments about, you know, how do we talk to our kids and how do we share our grief in a way that's not terrifying but still acknowledges it. And thank you so much, and I will see you again next Monday. Love you. Bye.